Hello, everyone. And there we go. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Heidi McIndoe. I am a registered dietitian. And today we are going to talk about some sustainable eating habits or techniques or ideas. Hello, thank you. Hello, Nadine. All right, so let's get started. So just so you guys know, I do have the chat open. So if you guys have questions at any time, please feel free to just pop them right in the chat. I will certainly save time at the end for questions, but I have no problem answering questions as we go along as well as things pop into your mind. If you have a specific question, go ahead and pop them in the chat and I will do my best to answer them. All right, so let's see. So sustainability. And so I'm sort of trying to, sustainability can be a huge umbrella, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. And I'm trying to look at it through smaller habits. I always, whenever it comes to anything nutrition, I guess in life actually, but nutrition related, I really try to help focus on small changes that people can make because I think it's less overwhelming and more realistic and more successful than looking at, looking at it as one gigantic task. So for sustainability, we are going to be breaking this down into a few smaller habits. And those have, well, first of all, have not get into the habits yet. So what are we going to do today? I'm going to talk about what sustainable eating habits, just sort of a brief little definition, talk about the sustainable eating habits that I want to address today, then do a little review, and then we'll have some questions. So easy peasy. All right, so sustainable eating habits. Shouldn't surprise anybody. It's just choosing foods that are made in a way so that there's as little impact on the environment as possible, as little, I should say, negative impact, and promotes ethical practices. And of course, so this is just sustainability in general, is doing things that have negative impact or minimal negative impact on the environment. But when we talk about eating, we still want that food to be delicious and nutritious. So there's that extra factor added in. All right, so the sustainable eating habits that I want to go over today, want to discuss today, talking about local and in-season produce. We want to focus on plant-based eating, promoting less food waste, and then there's a couple things that really just didn't fit into any other category. So, so we're going to cover those in other sustainable actions. All right, and if anybody has any other specific things they do to promote sustainability in their eating, certainly save them or share them. I cannot speak today, although that happens every day. So local and in-season produce. So this is, not only is this great for sustainability, it is also great for nutrition and it's great for budget friendly, which who can't use some budget friendly ideas right now? By buying and eating local produce from your local farms, you are supporting those local farms in your community and you're supporting the local economy. And anytime you do that, it's beneficial to the environment and the economy as a whole. It's great to support those local farmers and getting that food right there closest to you. And the reason why this is good from a sustainability perspective is that you're going to have fewer trucks. If you're getting strawberries in Massachusetts in July, then those strawberries maybe only came from, the farm next door or two towns over. Instead of getting strawberries in Massachusetts in December, when those strawberries were probably grown in California, they went to a warehouse. That warehouse they had to keep refrigerated. They had to go into a refrigerated truck. That truck had to drive across the country, use fuel. The food went to another warehouse where again they had to be kept cool. So we've got a lot of energy being used both in storing food and in transporting food when we're choosing food that comes from a distance and is not in season. Um, so we really want to, just get what we can get in season. And the reason why this is beneficial nutrition wise is this automatically makes our eating more varied. And when it comes to nutrition, there are, we all know the food groups, fruits and veggies and dairy and meats and grains. And foods are grouped into those food groups because they have similar nutrient profiles. However, within those food groups, foods also have distinct benefits, to each their own. So while strawberries and apples are both fruit and they are great sources of fiber, they also have a varied nutrient profile that makes them each distinct. And so when you're eating strawberries in July and apples in October, again, you're supporting local farms, local economy, you're eating sustainably, but you are automatically getting a more varied diet throughout the year than if you just buy those California strawberries in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, throughout the year. Instead of eating strawberries throughout the year, you're getting strawberries in July and you're getting apples in October and you're getting pears also in October. But you're getting a much more varied diet throughout the course of the year. Also, food is fresher. Again, when those strawberries are picked in California, you are not getting them until maybe, I don't know, up to a week after they've been picked. It doesn't mean they're unhealthy or they're bad, they're just not as fresh. But when you're getting produce from your local farm, chances are it was picked yesterday or at the very most the day before. So it's super fresh. And I always find it tastes better too. So when you think about those strawberries that are driven across the country, they're picked before they're actually ripe. Um, because to an extent, because if they're picked when they're ripe, by the time they get across the country, they're already going to be starting to go bad. Um, and I just feel like the natural ripening process of produce makes it just taste that much better. Me personally, me and my son, both of us, we neither one of us like grocery store strawberries, but we will inhale strawberries from the farm that we pick at in the summer. And they taste different. They're just full of flavor. Did you ever notice when you bite into a strawberry from the grocery store, it's white inside? But if you've ever picked a fresh strawberry, it is red through and through. Another nutritional bonus, the color of plant-based food, so produce, uh, is often associated with a specific nutrient, a specific phytonutrient or antioxidant. So if you're biting into a strawberry that's white inside, there's not a lot of those red nutrients in it. But when you go to the farm and that strawberry's red through and through, you're getting more of those red producing nutrients and the benefits that they give us. All right, so local, in season, fresher, tastes better, possibly more nutritious, supports the local economy, local farmers, and we're not using all of that energy to get it across the country or, across the globe or wherever it might have to go to. All right, so that's number one. All right. Anybody else who likes local stuff? Who buys local and in-season produce? Let me know what are your favorite things to get locally? All right, plant-based eating. So plant-based eating, not to be confused with specifically, say, vegan or strict vegetarian diet. What I like to think of as plant-based eating, okay, let's see, we got blueberries picked at the farm. Yes, somebody grows their own strawberries. Good for you, because you know what? I have blueberry bushes, I have raspberry bushes. I have tried my hardest to grow strawberries, but man, the bunnies in my backyard really like to take a bite out of every strawberry I grow. Instead of eating one whole strawberry and getting full, they like to take a little bite out of each one. So we're not doing strawberries anymore, which I hate it because I love fresh picked strawberries. Maybe I'll try again. Yeah, the bunnies, yeah. If I had more strawberries, I wouldn't mind sharing, but I never have enough to share. Um, all right, so plant-based eating, what I like to do, think about it, it's not eliminating meat or animal-based products so specifically as it is reducing them. So it's not saying, oh, I'm never going to eat beef again, or I'm never going to eat chicken again, I'm never going to eat meat again. It's about let me focus my meals and my snacks on more animal, or I'm sorry, more plant-based foods, and let me treat the meat as more of a garnish or as an accent item. And there's a number of reasons for this. Um, oh man, here we go. Heather, she is buying all kinds of stuff at the local farmer's market. Yeah, eggplant, tomatoes, berries, cucumber, squash, beans, great. Yeah, we in my town we have a farmer's market too, and it just started over the last couple of years, but it's really getting good. So yeah, I love getting that stuff there. It just, again, it just tastes better. So how can you argue with it tastes better, plus it's better for you and it's better for the environment? It's like the taste better is just a bonus. All right, so plant-based eating. So yeah, we're the plant-based eating, the reason why this is, and again, there's a nutritional aspect as well as a yeah, I said that right, sustainability aspect to this. So sustainably, it just it's um we're impacting the environment less when we're eating and farming plant-based foods versus everything that goes into the maintenance and care of, say, livestock for more of the animal-based foods. A, a, a crop of beans is going to use a lot less, is going to impact the environment a lot less negatively than a herd of cattle. So if we can reduce the amount of cattle that we need to feed America and have more plant-based foods, then we're going to be reducing that impact on the environment. But nutritionally, so meat, yeah, a lot of benefits to meat. Beef is a great source of iron. Fish is a great source of omega-3 fatty acids. However, in our country, we tend to go overboard on our portion sizes. We don't need, my dad was telling me he went out to dinner the other night and he went to a steakhouse. He really wanted a steak. And his options, the steak he wanted to get came in two sizes, 16 ounce or 18 ounce. He didn't need a pound of meat for his one dinner. And nobody needs a pound of meat at a meal. So we really have to be cutting this down. You will get the benefits from, a couple of ounces of meat, not 18 ounces. Plus, on top of that, the benefits of eating more plant-based foods, we're getting more fiber, we're getting more whole grains, we're getting a wider array of um, nutrients, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients from this wide variety of plant-based foods. While again, eliminate the meat if that's your choice. But if you're not ready to eliminate the meat, just reduce the amount. So, um, something like instead of having uh, a large chicken breast with a little bit of rice and vegetables on the side. What if you have a big bowl of quinoa with a couple slices of grilled chicken and then veggies and seeds on top of that? So you're still getting your chicken, but we're sort of flip-flopping the largest part of the meal for a more plant-based meal. Also looking for wild caught fish, which again is better for the environment than all the farm raised fish, or looking for fish from responsibly managed fisheries, which we're getting more of that. And you know what? I should have put it on this slide and I didn't think of it. I have an app. Where am I going to find it? Oh, there we go. I'm going to put it in the chat. Um, It is called Seafood. Let me make sure. Okay, I can put it into everyone. It's called Seafood Watch is the name of the app. And it's a great guide to sustainable, why can't I say that word? Sustainable seafood. And you can just put an item in there, put say a fish in there, and it will tell you how sustainable it is and what type to look for. So I just put in tuna, and it's telling me the best choice is albacore that is found. So apparently we're with the fish, it doesn't matter local as much, found in the South Pacific, basically because of the way they are catching it. And when we are doing things like albacore in um, in other parts of the country where they're using like those big nets and catching all these other fish while they're trying to catch the tuna and harming those, we want to get away from that. So again, it's looking more at the way the fish are caught and managed is what we want to look for when we're talking about seafood. So yeah, so plant-based. This wasn't just about seafood, it was plant-based. Less food waste. Okay, this is huge. So Americans throw away, I was just looking this up for something else, but Americans throw away, it was either 500, I think it was $500 million worth of food every year. That's ridiculous. $500 million worth of food. So I mean, that's not good because A, obviously it's a waste of money. B, where is this food going? It's going into landfills, it's going into dumps, it's going for most people. And so, we don't need to build up the landfills. So one of the ways to help you both save money, again, this will help you eat more nutritiously, but also produce less food waste. Planning meals is huge because when you don't plan your meals, you end up, you're doing takeout a lot, you're going to the store multiple times. Every trip to the grocery store, research has shown you buy 3 to 5 what they call quote unquote unnecessary items. So you're buying this extra food that you don't need, and eventually that food's going to go bad. And, say you go to the grocery store, oh, do we have any chicken at home? I don't know, let's buy chicken. And you get home and, oh, sure enough, you had chicken. You didn't need more chicken. And now, maybe there's too much chicken for you to eat in one week, and some of it's going to go bad. Um, or maybe you had leftovers. Oh, that's so next overs. I am huge on next overs. When you were looking in your fridge, when you were planning your meals, planning menus, think about what you can do with a leftover instead of just wrapping it up and putting it in the back of the fridge and throwing it out next week. So, for example, if you have leftover either rotisserie chicken or you roasted a chicken, you can make chicken quesadillas, you can make chicken pizza, you can barbecue chicken pizza, you can make chicken tacos, you can make chicken soup, you can make chicken salad. So what can you do with leftovers from a meal? And I really like to think about that. Now, not all meat, like so tonight for my family, I'm making lasagna. I can't turn lasagna into anything else but lasagna. Um, but my husband's birthday, we always make roast beef for dinner. And a couple nights later, we always have beef pot pie because we have potatoes, we have gravy, we have corn, and we have beef. So I'm getting all those leftovers used. I'm not throwing them in the garbage. I didn't spend money and then throw it directly in the garbage can from the refrigerator. Um, so it's really, taking advantage of making the most use of the food that you can. And I really think planning meals and shopping accordingly is really the first step in this. Because if you plan meals, you go to the grocery store and you just buy what you need for those meals versus wandering the grocery store multiple times a week and grabbing what looks good in the moment and then getting home and maybe you use it, maybe you don't, maybe next week it's still in the fridge. Oh, and now it's bad. So let's throw that out. Buying just what you need and then making sure you can use all of that up. So I always love, that whole idea of next overs. What makes great next overs is, or what meals, I should say, um, are lend themselves well to next overs: quesadillas, frittatas, quiches, omelets. These are fantastic ways to use leftover plant-based items or meats, vegetables, grains, whatever you can throw in them. All right, so someone is telling me they downloaded the app and said it's no longer supported. Hmm. All right. Well, I apparently have an old version because it's still working. But thank you for sharing that. So apparently, isn't that funny? But yep, so if you can still go to the website, their online website, that's a great place to look as well. But I don't know why mine is working. All right, another way to have less food waste is to compost your food scraps. Um, Even if you don't have a garden, you can still compost food scraps and maybe give them to a neighbor. Or in my town, we actually have a thing. It's called Black Earth, I think is what it's called. They give you these little tiny recycle bins. And when they come get the garbage, they will collect your food scraps. And after a certain period of time, they will actually give you a bag of compost. Um, which again, if you have a garden, that's fabulous. If you don't have a garden, chances are somebody in the neighborhood would appreciate some free compost. And now you are promoting less food to go into those landfills and to go into the garbage dumps. Um, and you're giving back to the environment. So this is like a win-win, composting food scraps, because we're not only promoting less harm to the environment, we are actually you know, giving back to the environment. So I think, that's a really great way to help with that. And I know this Black Earth, it tells you what can and can't be recycled. So if you have that in your town, look into it. All right, and then some other sustainable behaviors. Like I said, these just didn't fit into any other category. So looking for those certifications like fair trade and marine stewardship, things like these on packages mean that this company is doing what they can to help the environment, to do whatever they can to promote the health of our world while they're, providing us nourishment. Choosing minimal packages or at least eco-friendly packaging. So I know it's very, very easy to buy, like I love Skinny Pop popcorn. I know, sure, I can buy the bag of 10 little mini bags, but I don't. I buy the one big bag and I portion it out into little Tupperware containers when I want to snack on it. It, I mean, I'm still getting the big bag of popcorn, but now I have one bag of popcorn instead of 11 little bags of popcorn. Um, Doing that with, uh, I mean, think about anything that you can buy in bulk and portion out yourself is going to be better for the environment. Again, the less you are throwing something into the garbage, the better it is for the environment. Or if it comes, I was actually buying chicken the other day, and I can't remember the brand I was buying, but there was a huge label on it, and it said this container can be rinsed and recycled. So instead of the styrofoam containers, which can't be recycled, they were making it a point for you to know, listen, we now have a new container, and just, pull out the, little foam pad that's under the chicken with the juice in it, rinse it out and recycle it. So looking for those eco-friendly packaging. Um, oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So www.seafoodwatch.org is the correct website for that. Um, Another thing, so this is just a pet peeve of mine when I'm in the grocery store. Uh, I know so say you're in the produce department. If you can get the little mesh bags that you reuse and pack your fruit in, great. Because again, we're reusing instead of using those little plastic bags at the grocery store. But does everything need a bag in the produce department? So it always kills me when I see somebody take a hunk of 5 bananas and struggle to get them in a bag. A, why? They're going to stay together. The person's just going to pick up the hunk and scan them and weigh them. B, you're not eating the peel. It's not like you're keeping them clean by putting them in the bag. So do you really need the little plastic bag for your bananas? Again, pet peeve of mine, but something to think about when you're in the produce department and you're buying stuff. You know, how many of those little plastic bags do you really need? I tend to only use them if I've already used up all my mesh bags and it's something that I'm buying a lot of. I'll buy 2 tomatoes and put them right in my cart. The bananas, if I'm buying like 2 or 3 oranges or peppers, I don't use the bags. So again, this is my personal choice. But again, something just to think about. What are you, when you are shopping and you're at the grocery store, um, are there things you could do differently to reduce the amount of non-recyclable items that you bring into your house? And finally, here we have drinking tap water. So yeah, drinking tap water, or getting if you don't like your tap water, get a filter for your fridge or a filter on your faucet. But I mean, this is like a no-brainer, but how many plastic bottles, even if you recycle them, um, that's not 100% solution. Recycling your plastic bottles, just don't use the plastic bottles. So recycling is awesome. I highly encourage it. We do it in my house, but better than recycling is just not using stuff, not creating that as much um trash, I guess, for lack of a better word, um, in the first place. So drinking water, get your refillable bottle water or water bottle, fill it up and drink from that instead of going through case upon case upon case upon case upon bottled water. Okay, we got some information here. Oh, and this is, so I do see the questions. I'm going to get back to the, oops. Oh no, I went to the wrong one. There we go. This is there. Now's a great time for you guys to my gosh, start popping questions into the chat if you have any. Before I review this slide, I'm going to look at our comments. Use laundry detergent sheets from Clean People of Canada. Great, thank you. And they come in one small recyclable box. Excellent. Yep, that's great. Instead of the big plastic bins of laundry detergent. Oh, nice. They're starting to make some meat containers that are made out of corn, so they are compostable. I've seen them for pork. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I actually, sometimes when I go places, I give food samples and I have some cups that are, no, not the cup. Well, yeah, the cups are made out of something, but the spoons, I think the sampling spoons are made out of like bamboo or something. So they're compostable instead of just going through 50 plastic spoons. All right, so just a quick review as we're wrapping things up. So yes, buy as much as you can locally and in season. So now is when we are in April, so we're looking for asparagus and we're looking for, we're starting to see those berries. They're not quite there yet. We're still working on the apples from the fall, and pears, so that's great. And I mean, I know oranges are not local to us. They are in season in the winter though. Doesn't help with the transportation, but it is in season at least. Adopt more plant-based eating habits. So again, just if it doesn't need to be a full elimination, just a reduction in the animal-based portions of your meal, and encouraging more of those plant-based items. Less food waste. So plan those meals, shop accordingly, reuse the food, not like the wasted food, but what can leftover food be turned into so that it is another meal instead of more garbage. And then those other additional sustainable steps. So that's it. If you have any questions, now's a great time to pop them in the chat. I'll hang out here for a minute and see what we've got.